Hello. Today we're going to talk about altruism, gratitude, and forgiveness. Imagine that you are doing an internship at a community agency where you are serving others, and you are receiving credit for doing this internship to help you towards meeting the requirements for your degree. And you also gain a sense of satisfaction and purpose from serving others in your internship. Would this be an example of altruism? And if so, what would be your motives for helping others in the situation? We learn from our reading that altruism is any behavior aimed at benefiting another person. And that there are two basic motives that underlie altruism. One is the egotism motive, and the other is the empathy motive. The egotism motive has to do with the motive to pursue some sort of personal gain or benefit through the altruistic behavior. So, is it still altruism if we're getting something out of it? Is that an acceptable motive to have when helping others? What we learn from our readings is that yes, it is an acceptable motive. And not only do we benefit when egotism is our motive, but others, the recipients of our altruistic behavior, also benefit. In other words, the authors of our book are suggesting that as long as we are engaging in altruistic acts, the motive is not nearly as important as the behavior. And the benefits from being altruistic are considerable that you'll appreciate from your readings, regardless of the motive for being altruistic. The second motive for altruistic behavior is the empathy motive. And this, of course, is when we have an emotional response to the person we're helping. We have a sense of tenderheartedness toward this person, and we want to reach out to them and help them. This is also a common motive in altruistic behavior, and in fact, a lot of times our altruistic behavior results from a combination of both of these motives, both the egotism motive and the empathy motive. If we have a religious orientation to life, this encourages us to serve others. If we are Christian, it is at the heart of our faith to be of service to others, to love one another, and to serve others, to serve God through serving others. And if we do have a religious orientation to life, it may actually increase the kind of altruistic situations we might pursue. So, to the extent that the empathy motive enters into altruistic behavior, there are certain things that we can do to help increase empathy in ourselves and others. Sometimes people will say, well, I'll be glad to write a check, but I just can't interact with those people. It just makes me too uncomfortable. So this points to how when we help others and ourselves to appreciate our common humanity, the common humanity we share with everybody, including those who may be in more dire need, it can increase our empathy and the likelihood that we will reach out to others in a caring and helpful way. If we increase our interactions with people who are the recipients of altruistic acts, so that we get to know them in a more personal way and come to appreciate more fully our common humanity in that way, that can also help increase the empathy motive. Altruism is one of those behaviors that helps us to get outside of ourselves, to become more connected with other people, and to engage in acts of kindness, generosity, and helpfulness that can make a difference in the lives of others and also enrich our lives in the process. In our readings, we get to learn about some perspectives on gratitude and look at some of the research that's been done on this topic. The student I once had in a positive psychology class referred to gratitude as a superpower because of the extensive research looking at the difference that gratitude can make in our lives. Hopefully by now you have that appreciation from positive psychology exercises you have completed in our course, that you can appreciate the powerful effect that gratitude can have in our lives. We can also think about gratitude in the context of Fredrickson's broaden and build theory of positive emotion, because gratitude is a positive emotional state, and we can induce this state just by thinking about things that we are grateful for. Personally, I find it extremely helpful to reflect on those things about which I'm grateful on a daily basis, and especially helpful in helping me get through difficult times. It does not take the difficult times away, but it helps me gain a different perspective where I can still appreciate things I'm grateful for while also dealing with struggles in my life. I like the way Robert Emmons defines gratitude. I've provided you with a video of Robert Emmons where he's talking about gratitude. I hope you find it enjoyable and informative. Emmons says, gratitude emerges upon recognizing that one has obtained a positive outcome from another individual who behaved in a way that was costly to him or her, valuable to the recipient, intentionally rendered. In other words, if I've done something for you and you feel grateful for it, you know that I needed to extend myself in order to do it. You value what I did, and you know that I did it intentionally or on purpose. These conditions are conducive to our experiencing gratitude. Interestingly, Emmons is putting gratitude in an interpersonal context here. There may be times when we feel grateful for other things, not just what others do for us, but for our health, for our family, for our job, and many other things we may also experience gratitude for. The list of the benefits of gratitude are long, is long. The list is long. And it includes things like being more optimistic, being more hopeful, having greater enthusiasm, engaging in more helping behavior, um, having a more positive outlook on life in general. The list goes on. You can see why one of my earlier students referred to gratitude as a superpower. So there are ways in which we can intentionally increase our sense of gratitude, and you've been working on some of those as a part of this course. We can keep a journal in which we write down things about which we feel grateful. We can count our blessings. Just think about things about which we are grateful. And we can also participate in a kind of gratitude meditation that's Eastern in its origin, called Nikon therapy. And if you've read about this kind of meditation, you know that it includes asking ourselves 3 questions. What did I receive? What did I give? What troubles and difficulties did I cause to others? Now, the first 2 of these questions we might think about on our own, just guessing what might be included. But the third question, that one is a bit of a surprise. What troubles and difficulties did I cause to others? That question really helps us to appreciate the influence of Eastern philosophy and culture in how this Nikon therapy came about. Because as we know, Eastern culture, it tends to be more collectivistic. And that question, what troubles and difficulties did I cause to others, fits well within that framework. And finally, in our readings, we have the opportunity to explore forgiveness. As you know, forgiveness can be hard. We can really struggle with it, deciding whether or not to forgive somebody. And I love our readings on this topic because it really helps us to think about forgiveness from several different perspectives. And as you read about forgiveness from these different points of view, I hope that you'll really think about each perspective, what it has to offer, and how you might be able to embrace ideas from each of these perspectives in helping you in the process of forgiveness. A member of our positive psychology class recently wrote about a struggle with forgiveness of a family member and how this person was eventually able to do it and how helpful it was to be able to experience forgiveness. As you'll notice in reading the different definitions of forgiveness, these different definitions encompass a lot of different ideas, most of them having to do with forgiveness of others. But sometimes we may need to forgive ourselves. And this can be one of the most difficult kinds of forgiveness that we ever deal with. So if we have a religious orientation to life, it probably helps us in the process of forgiveness, because in the Christian faith, for example, we are called to forgive. And we need to be able to ask God for forgiveness and to be able to forgive others. And our faith hopefully provides us with some tools and support to help us through that process. I provided you with a video by Worthington in which he talks about forgiveness and his own personal struggles with it. He's a researcher that's cited in my readings who came up with the REACH model, R-E-A-C-H model, for helping couples where there's been unfaithfulness in the marriage to heal from that experience. In Worthington's REACH model of forgiveness, as you may already be aware, R stands for recall the hurt, E, empathize, A, altruistically give the gift of forgiveness, C, commit verbally to forgive, and H, hold on to the forgiveness. And again, he developed this model to help couples where infidelity has taken place. What if we were able to cultivate more altruism, gratitude, and forgiveness within ourselves and in our communities and in our world? What kind of a difference could that make? Thank you.